And we're live. What up, Facebook? It is Coach Jason here in the gym, doing a little Stairmaster. And what I really like about Stairmaster, or just cardio in general, is that I get to be alone with my thoughts. And so today I decided I was going to let you guys join in on some of my thoughts. So I guess this is more of a motivational Monday, but since it's not Monday, decided it's going to be a Wisdom Wednesday. Put a mask on, so I'm reading stuff right now. Told me to put a mask on my face. Anyway, so there's a story I told a couple weeks ago, but it's one of my favorite stories that I want to actually tell again, and just about perspective. And I think it's good for anyone in their life, no matter where they are in their life right now. So there is this boy and a young man. Boy and a man. Father, son, right? And they live together in their house, and they just do life together. And they had a neighbor who would every so often come over and check on them. And so this neighbor, come over and be like, hey, how are things going? And he said, well, things are good right now. And he said, we just got a new donkey. So my son is able to help with the farming. Amanda Guzman, what up? So my son is able to join with the farming, and he's able to help make us some money. So life is good. And the guy who visits says, well, how do you know? And so he goes away. And he comes back a few weeks later, and he says, so how are things going? And he said, oh, well, my son was out doing the farming on the donkey. Donkey bucks him off, and he breaks his arm. So now we're poor again. So things are bad. And he goes, well, how do you know? And sorry about that. They're looking for Morgan. It's a kids club. So bucks him off, right? Breaks his arm. Things are bad. Well, how do you know? So he comes back a couple weeks later, and he says, how are things going? And he said, well, they did the war's coming through, and they did the draft. And since my son's arm was broken, he didn't get drafted. So he's not going to war, so things are good. And the other guy says, well, how do you know? And he goes away. A couple weeks later, comes back, and he says, well, how are things? He goes, oh, well, all the young boys got drafted, went off to war, and as you know, we won the war, and all the soldiers got to keep the spoil. So everyone in our town is rich, except for us. We're the only poor ones in our town. So things are bad. And the guy goes, well, how do you know? So he, goes away. And a couple weeks later, he comes back, and he goes, well, how are things? He's like, well, as you know, all those boys came back rich, and but raiders came through and raided all the towns, and killed all the boys. They killed all those families who had those boys, since they had that money. And so since they took all that money, or since we were poor, we are the only ones that survived. So things are good. And the old man walks away, or before he walks away, he says, well, how do you know? And the point is, we always perceive things as good or bad in the situation that we're currently in. But we don't really know what is going to happen in the future. There's times when he goes, things are good right now. And that good thing ended up being a bad thing. And he goes, oh, things are bad right now. And that bad thing ended up being a good thing. And so I said, we really don't know. And it's all perspective. And so my encouragement to you is to, all right, so as it turns out, during the original filming of the video, the moral of the story actually got cut. So here I am back on the Stairmaster to finish up the moral. The moral of the story is, and my encouragement to you is that, especially during the hard days, the hard times, is to have faith and patience. Faith that everything's going to turn out the way that they're supposed to turn out, and the patience to see them through.